Everyone in Dry Creek whispered when the iron cage rolled into town, its wheels groaning like they carried a curse instead of a human being. And inside it sat the giant widow Eliza, crow her back straight despite the chains on her wrists, her shadow swallowing half the street as children hid behind barrels and men touched their guns, without realizing it, because fear had lived here longer than law ever had. They said she crushed a man with her hands, that her husband died screaming beneath her strength, that her grief turned her wild, but none of them spoke of the truth, that she had stood alone at her husband's grave while vultures circled, that she had defended her land until men with badges burned it down, that the cage was built not for justice but for comfort, because it was easier to lock away a woman who didn't bend than to admit the town had failed her. And when the auction bell rang, and the sheriff announced she'd be sold as labor to whoever dared take responsibility, laughter rippled through the crowd until one man didn't laugh at all, a dust-worn cowboy named Thomas Reed, who stood apart with a face carved by sun and silence, a man who had buried brothers and horses and dreams under the same wide sky, a man who knew what it meant to be feared for surviving. And when the bids came mocking, cruel, meant to humiliate, Thomas raised his hand once, quietly, and the street fell still, because nobody sane bought trouble this tall or this broken. Yet the hammer fell, the cage was unlocked, and for the first time in years Eliza Crow stepped into the open without chains, her eyes meeting Thomas's not with gratitude but with guarded fire, as if daring him to prove he was no different. And the ride to his ranch passed without words, the land stretching endless and empty, mirroring the space between them, until days turned into weeks, and something unexpected happened. Not gentleness, not pity, but respect. Thomas gave her work not to tame her but to trust her, fixing fences, lifting beams no man could manage alone, standing watch when rustlers prowled, and slowly the town's fear turned into rumors, rumors into silence, because the giant widow did not destroy the ranch, she protected it. And Thomas did not command her, he listened. Nights passed with firelight and stories instead of walls. Grief laid bare like open wounds. And one evening beneath a sky heavy with stars, Thomas did something no one had ever done. He asked nothing of her, strength or her past. He simply asked, "Do you ever want a future?" And when she answered with a laugh edged in pain, he stepped closer, not intimidated, not kneeling either, just honest, and said the words that would echo across the plains for years to come. "Will you marry me?" Not as a rescue, not as ownership, but as a choice, a partnership forged by two souls the world tried to cage. And Eliza wept not because she was weak, but because someone finally saw her whole. And when she said yes, it wasn't quiet, it was thunder, the kind that shakes old lies loose from the earth. And the town that once feared her stood watching as the giant widow walked back through Dry Creek, not in chains, but in a white dress sewn by her own hands, beside a cowboy who never tried to make her smaller. And together they built something stronger than fear, a legend, a home, and a reminder that the Wild West wasn't just about guns and gold, but about choosing courage over cruelty, love over legend. And if this story moved you, if you believe forgotten souls deserve second chances, make sure to subscribe to Wild West Dairies, because every legend deserves to be remembered, and every story like this still lives out on the frontier.